Today I'm going to change the oil in the 2011 Honda Civic. The black Civic that we had, we sold and got this one because we were kind of needing a four-door, I guess you would say. And they had pretty good deals on the 11s when the 12s came out. And right now it has, looks like 5,300 miles on it. And the oil life percentage is at 20%. So I'm going to go ahead and change it. The car is warmed up. I just got back from probably a 10-mile trip. Now when you change the oil in a car, you usually want it warmed up because it helps suspend some of the contaminants in the oil and it'll flow out and drain better. Now being as this car is really low to the ground, you're going to need at least ramps or a jack or something, jack it up. I usually use ramps. These work with cars that sit lower to the ground, although I do see it's going to rub a little bit. I don't think it'll be an issue. And I just go ahead and I stick the ramp, try to get it lined up straight, and I kind of give it a firm push underneath the wheel. Now I've done this many times, and so I'm going to go ahead and move this one over a little bit. If you've never done this before, you know, you might want to rethink it. It ain't no fun having a car fall off the ramp or fall off a jack, but I've had good luck with it and I've done it a lot. But it usually helps to have a person guide you up them. But again, I mean, like I said, I've done this a lot, and I've gotten to the point where I could get it myself without issue. This is a 5-speed. You can argue this would be easier than an automatic. Now here we go. Okay, the car is up on the ramps. Put a wheel chock behind the wheels. The key is out of the ignition. The parking brake is set. I always like to check the oil level before I drain it out. Appears to be good. All Hondas used to have 17mm drain plugs, so I'm going to hope that hasn't changed. Okay, I always use an old mop bucket as a oil drain container. It's going to be a little tight fitting it under this car, but on the van and when I had my Jeep, it always fit really well. You want to make sure you're taking out the right plug. If you haven't done this before, you know, you probably want to consult an owner's manual or have someone with some experience help you. You don't want to go taking out the wrong plug. This has a manual transmission, but if this is an automatic, it'd usually have a flat pan here. And there could be a drain plug in it, and it could be easy to confuse the two. This vehicle here, at first I thought this was the drain plug. That actually holds the dog bones on, or this dog bone motor mount on. Appears the drain plug's right here. So, see if this is still a 17, and it is. It's good to see it. Honda stayed consistent with that. Just usually crack it loose, and the oil's going to be hot. Now, I let it cool off some so this exhaust pipe isn't hot, because that'd definitely be a scorcher. There we go. Let this drain for a while. It's been about probably 7 minutes since I took the plug out. You see, we still have a pretty steady stream of oil draining out. Now, if you were taking this to a quick lube place or even the dealer, chances are they would have had the drain plug in about 5 minutes ago. Does it make a difference to drain the rest of this oil out? You know, probably not, but it's not going to hurt. I know from my experience when I was a teenager working in a quick lube place, pretty much you let it drain, you change the filter, and pretty much no matter what was still coming out. I mean, usually a stream like this, you put the plug in and fill her up and get her moved out, because that's just how they wanted the place run. And I'm probably going to guarantee if you go to a quick lube place, they ain't going to sit there and wait 20 minutes for it to drain. So probably don't make a difference, but you know what? I'm in no hurry, so I'm going to let it drain until it goes down to just a trickle, to a drop. This is the first oil change this car's had. That is a factory Honda oil filter. Okay, I'm going to put the drain plug back in. There is a gasket on most, if not all, drain plugs. You should replace this every time you change the oil or take the drain plug out. I'm not going to say that I do, but you're supposed to. Okay, the oil slowed down to a slow drip, and that's good enough for me. So I'm going to go ahead and thread the drain plug back in. This usually threaded in by hand. And this is an aluminum oil pan. You don't, I don't know the exact torque value you want on these. It's just something you kind of get the feel for. Like that is good enough. So the right thing to do would be to get a torque wrench and do it that way, but it's just something you kind of get a feel for, and that's the best I can explain it. A lot of quick lube places have been guilty of overdoing it. They don't go very tight. I just kind of put it on, the wrench back on there, make sure it's good and tight, make sure it ain't loose, but you don't have to crank on it or press real hard because you will strip that aluminum oil pan out. Most of the time, if the oil filter hasn't been over tight and you can get a good grip on them and get them off by hand, for whatever reason, it always seems that the factory oil filters are really tough to get off. My oil filter strap wrench is too big to get this one off, so I'm just going to get a pair of channel locks. This may not be pretty. There we go, it's starting to turn. Now they make other types of oil filter wrenches, but I had the channel locks handy. I usually crack it loose and let it drain out for a little while. I'll go ahead and remove it the rest of the way. And the goal is to not drop it in the bucket and splash oil up all over the place. And again, this is something you need to ask yourself, is this really worth it? I don't know why I still do this. Yeah, I almost dropped it. Yeah, I did drop it. Good job. Could have just paid 30 bucks and not had to mess with it, but that would have been too easy. I like doing things the hard way. Never learn. Since this oil filter mounts with the top upward, I'm going to go ahead and fill the filter with some oil. This is just something that I do. Again, a fast lube place or dealer probably ain't going to go through this trouble. And really all this is going to do is allow the engine to get oil quicker when you first start it up. It probably really doesn't make a bit of difference. Just something that I do. Just kind of fill it up like that. I'll go ahead and grab a dab of that oil, and you want to put a little bit of oil on this gasket. Regardless whether you pre-fill the filter with oil or not, you want to put something on this gasket. Otherwise, the next time you go to take the filter off, you're going to have a heck of a time getting it removed. And that's probably good enough. As far as the oil I use and the filter, it varies. This is a synthetic blend oil. The filter's aftermarket filter. It was sale deal at the auto parts store. Previous vehicles I've used Mobile One, you know, top of the line filters, and I've sold them long before that even made a difference. Now on the Joe Schlub van, I do the same thing. I plan on keeping that for quite a long time. This car, it might get turned in. It's a lease, so it's either going to get turned in at the end of the lease, or we're going to buy it out at the end of the lease and drive it for quite a while. So I don't know. I just think if you use a good quality brand motor oil and a decent filter, I think you're fine. Again, if you go to a quick lube place, chances are you're going to get bulk oil and the cheapest filter they can find. You know, it pretty much all works. It's not something that I really get too emotional about. There's websites that have a lot of information about oil and oil filters, but I just kind of just go with what I can find at a decent price. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and wipe down around this. Wipe the mating surface clean. You want to make sure the old gasket didn't stick on the mating surface. If you double gasket an oil filter, it is a matter of time until it comes loose. And that'd be bad. Of course, I got oil on the new filter, because I knocked that over. Okay, you usually just tighten these until they're just barely start to touch. And I need to draw my hands off and get a better grip. What I'm going to go ahead and do is turn it about 3/4 to 1 turn. Okay, so I gone ahead and took in some brake cleaner and I sprayed that oil filter. And I'm just going to go ahead and give it about 1 turn. And there we are. You really don't ever want to use a wrench to tighten the oil filter back up, because chances are you'll never get it off. So the mess that I've made now from splashing and whatnot, I'm going to go ahead and spray it off with the brake cleaner. Try to do a nice, clean job.